The following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
And Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
Yo, it's the Pipeman, and Juan, if you can't hear me, then you and Rebel need to come on. But so I had like mic difficulties in the middle of the intro. Like, I can't believe that happened. But what the fuck? It is What the Fuck Wednesday, and we're going to talk about some insane lineups on the Pipeman Radio Tour, one of which we just announced. You see in my background there, Aftershock, okay? And on top of that, we may talk about Larry Life. And we're also out.
All right, we cannot hear the Pipeman anymore, so we're coming on the show.
Yes, we are. And by the way, y'all see that? Woo! Darn. Okay, so I'm not just going to hold it up here.
They saw it for like 3 seconds.
I know, right? Like, so it says WTF because it's What the Fuck Wednesday, right? I love.
Oh, is that what that means? I thought it was because today's Wednesday, tomorrow's Thursday, and then Friday after that.
No. It's the element of surprise. WTF. Fan sent that to me. And you know it's a fan listening to the show because Pipeman's always calling it. So they sent me a ticket.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Okay, we'll see how many times this happens because that's annoying. All right, so here's what I found is that USB-C is better than USB because USB-C, that hasn't happened with my mic at all. I'm using USB the regular way now, and that's happening. But we're trying, like, we got to get through these technical difficulties that Juan is causing me.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think it's...
So to continue what I was saying, though, we have...
Yep. See, he blamed me for it, and I turned him off again. Yeah, always blame... When in doubt, blame the IT guy, right?
Right. Or the engineer. It's always our fault, right? No, it's not. Oh, well, so... Since Pipeman is having technical difficulties,
so is what today is.
It's What the Fuck Wednesday. You know what the fuck. Anyway,
I mean, what national day today?
National days. It's Girl Scout Day, National Baked Scallops Day. Now you know he's going to want to be in on this because he has a favorite in this mix. So we'll go through them and we'll see which ones y'all think is the Pipeman's favorite. Okay, so again, Girl Scout Day, National Baked Scallops Day, National Milky Way Day, National Plant a Flower Day.
Hold on. Now, is this Milky Way the chocolate or the galaxy?
Milky Way.
So the chocolate. Okay.
I'm gonna. Yeah, it shows a picture of the candy, so I'm gonna assume it's the Milky Way.
You know what they say about assuming.
I know, right? Okay, well, let's click on the button. We'll click on the button in a minute. Let's see. National Plant a Flower Day, National Working Moms Day, No Smoking Day in the UK, Registered Dietitian Nutritionist Day. Okay, how you going to put candy and Girl Scout Day, which includes cookies, on the National Dietitian and the Registered Dietitian's Nutritionist Day? Go figure. World Against Cyber Censorship. Okay, well, there's a lot of them. So I want everybody listening to put your comments in wherever you're listening and let us know which you think is the favorite for the Pipeman. Okay, since he's not here just yet, and we'll go through them again. But for you guys, just so you know, tell us what y'all think is his favorite of all the things today. And tell us what you think is not his favorite. Be specific, please. Anyway, so Jumpy, how are you, Juan?
I'm doing good. National Girl Scout Day. So we have a lot of Scout girls selling me Milky Ways today. So, that's a temptation. I think they're going to be selling Thin Mints. Hello, you. Do Thin Mints make you thin? Bomber. That's a question.
No.
They do not. Okay.
Not at all. Okay. You guys can see we have a Video Bomber. Video Bomber realized that when he video bombs, that the fans send him things too. So he decides that he wants to come and video bomb the show so he can get fans to send him. He's terrible. I told him he can't do that, but he still likes to do it anyway. Whoa, hello you. All right, so he's impossible. Come here, you. Come here. Nope. Okay, he just wants to stick his head out of the corner there, like he can go around a corner and say, "Hey, look at me." It's amazing what children do. Look at this one here. See, can you see him sometimes? He'll do this. You see the shadow. Aha, they can't see you all the way. Do you have any of those little ones that like to stick their faces in video?
I made it back.
You made it back.
I made it back.
Uh-huh.
Just in time for the outro. No, I'm kidding.
I know, really? Well, okay, so I'm going to try to say this one more time. And if my mic fails while I'm trying to say this, I think it's telling me that I shouldn't have the surprise topic. Okay. And so before I talk about the surprise topic, why don't you guys finish talking about what you were already talking about so I don't rudely interrupt like I just did.
We were talking about this Video Bomber right here who likes to get his 15 minutes of fame on camera.
Hey,
because he realized.
I know a great way to get the photo bomber off the show. Would you like to know how?
Sure.
Flicker in the nose.
No,
she'll jump right off. She'll jump right off.
Oh, it's a he, and
then he'll just start swatting you in the face. Then if you flick him in the nose,
you should spray him with water.
Yeah, that always works too, by the way.
No, he's wanting attention. Apparently, he has to come and get attention. But he realized that Wednesday. Things.
On What the Fuck Wednesday, I have a very important question for you having to do with the cat. Okay. So I'm on the 36th floor.
Oh,
and we know how cats, like I remember, okay, I'm allergic to cats, but Thing 2, she had a cat. And for some reason, that's the only cat in my life I was never allergic to.
Mm-hmm.
That cat used to scare the shit out of me because it would jump from the banister of the second floor down to me on the bottom floor. And that was like, I don't know. That would be like, I don't even know, but it was I had vaulted ceiling. So it was a pretty high jump and it would just land perfectly. No problem. Yep. So my question is, if we were to throw that cat off of my balcony,
we wouldn't do that.
Would it land on its feet? I mean, what's the threshold? Does anybody know the threshold of how far they can fall without smashing into the ground?
We're not going to find out.
I think he would definitely fall feet first. I don't know if he'll remain feet first, but
okay, I have an idea. Okay, no. Are you ready? I have an idea.
Okay.
Hey Alexa, how far can you drop a cat off of a building and it still not get hurt?
Alexa's like, no, we're not doing that.
You hear what she said? She did a little CYA.
Yeah.
She said she cannot give advice on something that would be abuse. I'm trying not to abuse the animal. I want to know if like they jump off. Like, what if you live in a condo? Okay. what floor is the highest floor you can be on that you can let your cat out onto the balcony without worrying about jumping off and hurting itself?
The first floor.
I've seen cats jump off of the 5th floor and still run off okay.
Okay, so we got that evidence. Okay, so we know the 5th, and these were regular size floors, right? They weren't little people, right?
No.
How far have you seen this cat jump, Rebel?
Let's see.
From the living room to the kitchen.
It's only a 1-story building, so 1 story.
I have an idea. I have another surprise now. Okay. Okay, but let me tell you what the first surprise is, and then I'll tell you what the surprise that I just thought of is. Okay, the first surprise is I got into this battle on social media about the Menendez brothers. So we're talking about the Menendez brothers today, and we're going to find out what the fuck kind of morals and values people have in this world. But
as
first,
we're talking about throwing cats off a balcony, that's questionable.
But first, and it ties together though, because do you think the Menendez brothers would throw a cat off the 36th floor of a building?
No, I think they have morals.
Okay,
they wouldn't dare.
Beat them up.
They would not dare.
Okay, how about you, Rebel?
Possible one of them would have, but
I like how you said that, because that's part of what we're going to talk about, because I kind of feel the same way. I feel that one of them was evil and the other one had no, just followed like a puppy dog and really didn't have a choice but to. But you always have a choice.
To avoid being hurt himself, right?
The who or what?
The one that followed.
Oh, yeah, of course. Of course.
Hurt himself.
Oh, yeah. So you like how instead of saying, huh, I like to make it more interesting, like, oh, what? Okay, so, but here's a new one, and it requires me to make a phone call, because does it come over okay, Juan, when I do the phone call? The only reason is the person will answer if I'm calling, and they'll forget it's my show time. But if you call from the studio line, they're gonna know. So
it comes over pretty easy.
as long as you keep the phone right up against the microphone, they should be fine.
Did you find it better when I put it on top of the microphone and post it on the side?
On top.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
So let's do this. I am going to call my youngest daughter, who was not a pet person and now is a cat fanatic. And I want to hear how she reacts to my question. Okay?
Okay.
About throwing the cat off the balcony?
Yeah.
Oh.
But watch how I ask her. It's going to be great. Okay? Everybody's going to love this.
I bet.
Maybe I shouldn't even tell her she's live so I hear her real reaction. But no, that would be cruel.
We can always say, hey, you know what time it is. Hey, no, he's being abusive to me. He jumped out of my arms.
See?
He knocked off this.
Hey, Daddy.
Hey, honey. Okay, I just have to tell you right off the bat, you are live on the air.
Oi.
And because we were posing a question during the show, like on Wednesdays, it's called What the Fuck Wednesday. Okay. And so we had a question because Rebel had something happen on the show. And I figured since you have become a cat expert, you would have the best answer to this question.
Okay.
So Rebel had her cat was like photobombing the show.
Video
okay. And so it posed a question to me. Now you remember Thing 2's cat and how the cat used to jump off the second floor of the house down to the ground, and it would be like, oh my God, I thought the cat was going to get hurt. Remember that?
The Siamese cats?
No. Thing 2, my second ex-wife. Thing 2. Pay attention.
Oh. Okay. I didn't know that's what you called her. Okay.
Well, ask your mom. She knows that on the radio show she's Thing 1 because she's actually introduced herself to people and said, you might know me as Thing 1. So, yeah, they're Thing 1 and Thing 2. Okay. So
Okay. Now that we've got that covered.
We've got that clear. Okay, so here's the question. I'm on the 36th floor. If a cat were to get thrown off the 36th floor, would it land on its feet? And if not, what's the highest floor a cat can jump off of or be thrown off of and still just walk away like nothing happened?
I mean, first of all, I'm concerned that the thought of throwing a cat 36 floors is a thought, as I have 3 cats.
You've never thought of throwing them off a 36th floor to see if they land?
No.
Not even close. I feel bad when I toss them from my arms.
Okay. Do they ever get hurt when when you toss them from your arms?
No, but I would say, I don't know, probably 1 story they could jump and be fine.
Okay. And is that just your guess, or is that scientific evidence that you've researched?
That's my guess off of having several cats get stuck in a tree.
Ah, and so what? They won't jump off?
No, hell no. They wait and they cry for you to get them.
So they know how far they can jump.
I think so.
Okay, so if you come visit and bring your cats, I can put them out on the balcony and they won't jump off.
I would not trust that whatsoever. I didn't say they're smart. My cat's orange. He has 1 brain cell that he shares with every other orange cat.
That's true. I see a lot of good TikToks about that. Okay.
It's specific for their breed. They're known to be dumb.
So you went and got a dumb cat. Does that make you dumb?
I didn't get him. He showed up.
Oh, okay. Okay, I have one more question for you, and then I'm going to let you go, because we have another subject of the show today that is a what the fuck subject, and that is, what do you think, because this is an argument I had on Facebook, do you think that what the Menendez brothers did to their parents was not only morally right, legally right, self-defense, and that the brothers are just poor products of the system that got wrongly imprisoned and should be released from jail?
I have no answer because I truly don't know what happened with them all too well.
All right. Well, see, I appreciate that.
I know that they were abused. They allege abuse and sexual abuse, and that's why they killed their parents, but I don't know enough.
That's a great answer. I wish more people in the world would answer like that, because lots of people answer without knowing enough at all. So thank you for playing. And I
will say Kevin Frankie, Ruby Frankie's husband, deserves to be sitting in jail with her for their abuse for their kids. I don't care what he says. That's a documentary I just watched.
And what about, are you following Casey Anthony on TikTok? Because she now has a TikTok.
Hell no.
Good.
I don't follow her, but also I was very young when that case was being publicized.
Yeah, so there's a big ordeal right now because she just started a TikTok and she's being a legal advocate. So if anybody there listening wants to know how to get away with murdering people, you can contact that TikTok.
Oy vey.
All right. Well, we're going to jump off and talk more about this stuff. But thank you for your participation and your contribution.
Disclaimer, do not throw cats from high distances. Please, God, I would hope you would go to jail if you did. It's too much abuse to cats anyway, because there's that stigma. So please, disclaimer, don't do that.
Well, I did ask Alexa too, and now she'll chime in again. And she did not want to talk about cat abuse. That was her words.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought too. I think give your cats lots of love and lots of treats. And they're good things to have around. Mine's right next to me actually right now.
So if you had a choice like it depended on your life, to throw your cat off the balcony or throw your husband, who would go?
I wouldn't make that choice. I will say, when I was in a RV explosion, I wasn't leaving without my cats, so I would probably die trying to save them.
Well, you rock, because animals rock and humans suck most of the time. So thanks for playing.
Oh, thanks. All right. Love you, Daddy. I'll talk to you later.
Love you too. Okay.
There you have it, folks.
There we have it. You know what I have to say about that? That's what I have to say about that. Okay. What if it's a stuffed cat? Can you do that? Or is that abuse too?
I think it would be abuse too. I mean,
okay,
depends. Hold on. I think it depends on what you mean by stuffed. Is it like a stuffed animal or taxidermy?
Well, give your answer for each one.
I think stuffed animal, okay. Taxidermy, too expensive to throw out.
Well, there you go. There's a wise person right there. Like taking his debauchery and making sure that is a financially sound decision. So there you go. So,
hey,
by the
I have
way,
a question for people.
By the way, the price of eggs have dropped now, Juan, so you can start egging cars again.
So now in New Year's, we're going to watch the egg drop. All hail the egg.
What were you going to say?
Right.
Hold on, before you go, Rebel, we have some comments here. Maybe somebody can read the comments, because I still look like I got into a fight with Mike Tyson and I can't see crap till they slice my eye open tomorrow.
I think Rebel's really good at reading. Rebel.
Yeah, go for it, Rebel.
Okay, so Charles says, as a listener...
Before you say it, I have to give a disclaimer on the show. This in no way represents the United States education system. It is simply the Louisiana education system only. Okay, go ahead, Rebel.
As a listener, it's hard to hear the other person on the phone. Pretty clear this time. And Google says cats can fall up to 20 stories. Don't encourage him.
Whoa,
I told you. 5 stories. I've seen it.
We got to call her back, man. Okay, 'cause she's wrong. She's wrong, and now I'm going to tell her she's wrong.
Ladies and gentlemen, again,
I have literally seen them jump off 5 stories, no problem. Like they just land and start running, like nothing happened.
We are not encouraging you to.
We're not the ones throwing them; they're the ones jumping.
We had to call you back live on the air because we got somebody to get us research. And cats can safely land and walk away, no problem, from the 20th floor and below.
I do not believe that.
Look it up. That's science. Love you.
I don't know that that's true. Love you.
Bye.
Please do not
test
this.
Please. She says, please don't test this at home. And here's what I have to say to that.
Ditto.
Do not do this at all.
I think it's because cats can kind of like glide on the air.
Love you, bye.
Kind of like the squirrels do, with like the wigging of the tail and just.
That's pretty cool. The squirrels, man, they're cool when they do that. When they jump like that, they're way cool.
Yeah,
I want to be a squirrel. I want to be a squirrel.
Nobody do this. Please do not hurt or encourage.
You already have the nuts.
How do you find out the answer, Rebel, if you don't do scientific research?
Well, I don't know who did this research, but stop it.
I mean, come on.
Not research on animals.
Rebel. Okay, yes. Rebel. Here's the thing. Okay. Now, if you can do research on transgender mice, why not on jumping cats?
Okay, we have another one.
I think I prefer the cats. You know, because they're jumping on their own accord. You're forcing a mice to change genders. They didn't get any approval of that, right? Like they didn't have a say in that.
No,
I did see some pictures of the transgender mice though, and they are pretty cute. I can't lie.
Did they give them double D's or?
No, they gave them like the grandma spring hats and scarf and stuff, and
I think that's drag. That's not trans.
So that's where they messed up. They created drag queens, not trans.
I don't think they knew the definition of trans, right? Like
I know, right? I mean, come on, But at least now, thanks to our great leader, transgender mice can now wear their jeans.
Oh God, help us all! Here, maybe this will distract you.
Okay, wait, no. Before the Milky Way, you were going to go to a comments. Okay. So let's hear it.
First, the last comment in the chat room, due to the fact that they can spread their limbs, that's why it's easier for cats to fall.
Well, they would glide down. They wouldn't just fall straight down. They would glide a little bit.
Okay, and lose about 7 of the 9 lives on the way there. Another thing we're going to say, we when you were having technical difficulties, we gave a question to the audience, and we told them what most of the days were today, all except one. Here's another one. This right here. What day would this be for? Anybody know? Please put it in the chat.
I can't see it. Where is it? Let me see.
It's a star.
It's a star?
It's a star. It's a star like you would get on the...
So today... Oh, you gave a hint there, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give a hint, too. In fact, I'm giving a hint right now, and nobody even knows it. I'm giving a hint for the contest we're about to have for Aftershock tickets. Okay? Nice. And
only play if you want to go.
So now they just sent me. They just announced the lineup. Yeah, I can speak today. They just announced the lineup for Aftershock, and Juan's gonna play us the commercial when I say play the commercial. And actually, I'm gonna have Juan. Here's your cue. When to play the commercial is when I do this. Okay.
Aftershock Festival returns to Sacramento for its biggest year yet with Blink-182, Deftones, Korn, Bring Me the Horizon, plus A Perfect Circle, Bad Omens, Rob Zombie, Good Charlotte, Turnstile, Gojira, Marilyn Manson, Knocked Loose, 3 Days Grace, and so many more. Aftershock, October 2nd to 5th at Discovery Park in Sacramento. Passes are on sale now at AftershockFestival.com.
Nice. Good job, Juan. Good job. And, okay, so I do want to say I'm going to ask Alexa another question now. Should I ask Alexa another question?
Yes.
Alexa, would you like to win tickets to Aftershock? She's thinking.
It's not a hard thing to think about, Alexa. Come on.
Hey, Alexa, would you like to win tickets to Aftershock? She's just ignoring me. What a bitch.
I think after the last comment, she's just ignoring you.
she's a little Alexa about y'all's relationship.
Hey, Alexa, do you like Aftershock?
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Okay. Alexa, would you like to win tickets to Aftershock? She just won't. She's doing it on purpose. She's giving me the silent treatment. Jesus. Oh my God. I can't even win with a pretend woman. Okay. I'm probably the only person in the world that has one of those sex dolls that talks back to me.
Does she like you?
No.
That's why she talks back to him.
Exactly. Okay. So here's the contest. Okay. If you go and comment here or send a message, or both, actually, if you're here, do both. Send a message to Pipeman Radio on any of my socials, and you tell me which are the 5 most favorite bands of Aftershock that are going to be on Aftershock that I would like to see their set. I'm going to give you guys hints. Number one hint I gave yesterday on my show. So if you didn't catch the show, you'll have to go to the podcast and catch the show. Okay. And so I gave you one hint yesterday. I'm going to give you another hint today. I already gave you the hint, and that's all I'm going to say. Okay. And I have given the hint the whole show. And I'm giving you the hint right now. So that gives you one of the 5. Rebel.
Yes.
Question.
What?
Can you guess who that hint is? And if you can, you're welcome to say it. And then people, if they're paying attention, they'll have a chance at another hint. Go ahead.
I don't know. I wasn't watching you. I'm
okay,
sorry.
Studio Nut.
I think it has
You
to
weren't
do.
watching me the whole show. You weren't watching me.
I think it has.
It's been the whole show.
I think I'm not gonna say it, but I think it has something to do with something you're wearing.
Is it my hat?
No.
Could be your glasses.
Because my hat is a band.
He says that he froze.
I froze.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see. Okay, no, not your hat.
My
Wait, what?
hat is a band.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so that's Prisoner. You can check out the interview I did with them a while back on the podcast on the Adventures of Pipeman or Pipeman in the Pit. Just look for
That's
Pipeman Radio interviewing Prisoner. Okay, what were you going to say, Rebel?
Your hat's crooked. You need to twist it.
I know
bit.
I don't, because I'm
There you
looking and I don't know which way to turn it because it's backwards.
Yeah, but I believe
Okay.
it's your shirt. Oh, now we can see the whole thing. I kind of thought I knew, but
Okay.
Looks
So,
like it's
Rebel,
an
I would
accident.
have you read off the whole list again today, but we don't have time. We didn't even have time if we used all 3 shows this week.
I know,
Okay.
right?
Again, I have to give the disclaimer that in no way represents the education of the U.S. education system. It is only representative of the great state of Louisiana.
No.
And I do
No.
think they should give education back to the states, right? Because then we can actually make fun of the states.
Right? Exactly.
We can justify it
now
as
we-
saying like it's Louisiana's fault for that,
No,
Oh, totally.
actually, we are not ranked lowest. Thank you.
Talk about
very
the
much.
child that got left
Okay,
behind.
let's look this up, okay?
Look it up. Look it up.
Because I know Florida's ranked pretty low. Okay. I know it used to be like 49th. Let's see what it is now. Okay. So the ranking of education by state. And I can't even see, so I hope I'm typing it right. And it says, don't throw your cat out the 20th floor.
Don't throw your cat at all. And
Is a
by the way,
proof
that's
of
not
a-
even mine.
All right, you ready?
Uh-huh.
Number 1 in education, I finally so fucking hard to believe how it went from 49 is
Florida, number 1.
No, come on.
It says number 1 in education, number 9 in best
Wait
states
a minute.
overall.
There's no way.
No way. No way.
But we
No,
are.
Sorry. I think your governor's just
Okay.
putting it on there. Your governor's twisted.
That's our big trouble. I'm moving to Mexico to get education, okay?
Yeah, no. Florida is not number 1.
It is number 1.
so
though.
let's see
I'm
where
looking at it right now.
Louisiana lies. Are you looking at the
I mean,
same one as me? I'm on US
Probably.
News. Let's
Yeah,
go.
it's the same one. I'm looking at Utah being number 2. I mean, I've never heard of Utah in
Yeah.
education ever. Like, that's not
Who
one that you
paid-
correlate.
Who paid these? I think DeSantis paid for this. Okay. Ron, find me Louisiana and tell me what number they are. And if they're number 50, then I'll believe it.
No.
Yeah, I do believe they're the child that got left behind.
No child got left behind unless you're in Louisiana.
And they left the whole. Well,
she is, and there she is. There's the child that got left behind.
Funny. Hold on a minute.
What are you searching? Hold on a minute. She mutes her mic. Like, Rebel, do you realize we're doing a radio show here? Okay.
I do. Hold on. Emergency.
Oh, here he goes. Louisiana, number 47.
Wow. So the Pipeman was right.
You know what's funny about that?
What's that?
You say you're moving to Mexico to get a better education. Guess who's number 50?
New Mexico?
New Mexico.
Yeah, because they're new.
So that means if you want a better education, you have to go to the old Mexico, not the New Mexico.
Yeah. So if they were just stuck to being Mexico instead of New Mexico, they'd be doing a lot better.
Yeah. So where's Louisiana on the list?
47.
Yep.
You know the Uno game when you drop the card and you have to swap cards?
Yes.
I feel like that's what we did with Louisiana.
Right, because we were 49th, okay? I think that's a bunch of bullshit because people are stupider here than ever. They're dumber here than ever. There's no possible way. Okay, but let's again get back to the Menendez brothers. And,
where are they from?
They're from California, I think.
Yeah, it was a Beverly Hills
They rank
case.
on the freaking list.
Okay, so here's the gig. Okay, so somebody made a posting on Facebook.
Yep.
And their posting basically said how they were hoping that they'd get released from prison and making it like they didn't do anything wrong and because they were abused, and it's okay to murder your parents if you feel they abused you. Like
parents would be dead.
What?
Do you know how many parents would be dead?
I know every parent would be dead. I can tell you right now. Even the best parents are parenting their kids when they grow up are talking shit about how bad their parents were. So that was one of my viewpoints. Thank you, Rebel. Go ahead, Juan.
I think it goes down to like what kind of abuse, right? Because if it's old school, like, scolding or whatever you want to call it,
beating.
Some kids need that, like there's some kids that grow up with no sense of consequences and they think they can get away with anything, and that's why. I
mean, Rebel's a perfect example of that.
Talk about the child that got left behind again,
Yeah. Okay.
Rebel is like one of the most amazing people ever when she's sleeping. I used to be one of my dad's lines. Like, he used to say to me, "It's like you're a good boy when you're sleeping."
Yeah, he's a little angel when he's asleep.
So here's the thing. Okay, so then I'm looking at all these people commenting. Of course, nowadays everybody, they're only friends with people that believe exactly the way they do. So most Facebooks you go on, everybody's commenting how great whatever you said was, because no, God forbid you should have somebody that has an educated opposing opinion. You'll get blocked because we all have to be robots and we all have to be clones of each other and all believe the same thing and be on the same side and all that bullshit. So here's some of the other things I saw. I couldn't believe it. They got what they deserved, meaning the parents. And basically, I made a comment. So here's a comment I made. Have you guys seen the crime scene of what happened for the Menendez brothers? Juan, you're young, so I don't know.
Yeah,
if you saw it.
This happened way before my time, but I did research on it because you said we were going to be talking about it. So I've been through those things. Yeah. I
mean, literally, first of all, these kids were adults. Okay, so it's not like they were kids in the middle of abuse and that happened.
This was retaliation, sort of, right?
It was, well, yeah, that's it.
Maybe their therapist made him do it.
So, which is the reason why I say, what kind of abuse was it? Because if it was physical abuse or even sexual abuse, like the parents deserve jail time, not have their lives taken away. That's how the justice system works. Because
Well,
this
some
way,
people are just
the way they
born
did it,
evil.
the way they did it, no one wins. You know, parents lose their lives, they go to jail, and you know, especially with them spending their parents' money lavishly,
Right
after the fact. I mean, that's
Well, there's multiple things. You're so on point with that, and there's multiple things these people don't think about. Like, so I made a comment. I'm like, first of all, because people were saying how what they did was legal and they shouldn't be in prison. It's self-defense.
no.
I had to explain to people.
Self-defense would be like if you're being attacked in that moment.
Exactly.
Not years later.
And nobody was there in that family or in that situation for their whole lives to know if even the abuse is true. The abuse was never proven. And if it was proven.
Wait a minute. How can you prove abuse years later? And everybody turned a blind eye because they thought that was acceptable to do to children. That's not, I disagree with that.
Okay. What I'm saying is you weren't there.
Right.
Yeah, and you were not there. I wasn't there. We don't know what really happened in that house because a lot of times abuse can be perception. Now, anybody that knows me knows I am not for capital punishment on children. I don't believe in it. I believe it. I used to get into arguments because I believe in reasoning with your children and
corporal punishment or capital punishment.
You know, both.
Okay.
Both. I don't believe in that either. Well, capital is when you're put to death, and I don't know that I believe in that either because sometimes they're wrong. You know, but and how does that make you any better? If you're killing them, how does that make you better than somebody killed somebody else? Okay. But yes, corporal punishment. Thanks for correcting me, because that is what I meant. Like, I don't even believe in spanking, to be honest, because first of all, spanking, if you're a kid, you kind of laugh at that after a while. Like, in other words, you calculate it and it doesn't accomplish anything. It's like, I'm going to.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, you go sneak out, have a great time, and the worst that's going to happen is you're going to get a spanking for a couple minutes.
These days, kids care more about their video games than they do about corporal punishment. They would rather have
video games to take away, and they didn't have cell phones to take away.
You had other things you could do, and there's other creative parenting things you could do. We'll have a whole show about this because, they're just better ways, because the abuse is simply reactionary. It's not discipline. Like, these people that believe in it, they think it's discipline. It's not discipline. It's fear. And I am not for abuse whatsoever, and especially sexual abuse.
So again, I'm just gonna go back to what I was saying before. You know, if psychologically speaking, if you're a victim of abuse and it gets to the point where you feel it's justified to, off your parents, that psychological pain would not allow you to take their money and then spend it lavishly. Like, you would be so mentally in a bad place with them that you would say, I don't want anything that has to do with them.
No,
there's so many.
Wait. Hold on. Let me.
Go ahead, Rebel. Go ahead.
Okay. So maybe they felt that they were lacking things that their parents weren't giving them. So that was just another jab after killing them. Well, now, not only did I kill you, but I'm going to spend all your goddamn money, you evil bastard.
Well, I could definitely see that, but that means there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, okay, that's a psychological problem.
Here's the point.
You're a psychopath.
Okay?
Caused the psychological problem.
They didn't go get fixed. They didn't go get coping skills. They didn't attempt these things, okay? And years later, you're an adult, okay? And yes, listen, I have seen, experienced, been firsthand involved in abuse, and you have different ways you can look at it, and you have to do something about it. But this is what I said, and I got attacked, and maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. It's my opinion. But the bottom line is, I think there's no reason on the face of the earth, if you're not in the moment and defending yourself in the moment, to kill other human beings, parents or otherwise, because they abused you, because that's reactionary and that's psychological trauma, and what they did to you was so screwed up. Like, what the fuck?
Well, if you think about it, right? If what you did is after the fact, then it becomes premeditated.
And it's not premeditated. But here's the part I have a problem with. There would be some kids that
the Louisiana girl disagrees with me.
Yeah, there would
she disagrees with me.
That
okay.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Here's what I'll say about that. Is that, you know, sometimes these situations, first of all, we don't know all the details. We think because we're watching the news and the TV and documentaries that somebody wrote that we know what happened. But what we do know what happened is if you look at the pictures of the crime scene, they show premeditation. I mean, for God's sakes, the kid went outside, was done, and went back in for more. That's not somebody that is doing it as self-defense, which is what these people were claiming, self-defense. Self-defense, you don't get away and then come back for more.
Okay, can I ask a question?
You can ask a question.
What if the abuse didn't stop even when they became adults? What if the parents or parent, whatever, still was trying to act their bad behavior on the child at the time?
Okay, so here's what I want to ask you.
So they said,
here's what I want to ask you. If you are a grown person, an adult, and your parents were trying to physically or sexually abuse you, are you telling me that you have no resources to stop that besides murdering them at some point in time that was not during the abusive time?
Are they currently trying to do it right now?
They're dead.
No, my parents aren't dead.
No, not your parents. Their parents. They killed them.
So again, no. So re-ask your question, because at the time you asked, if I was an adult and my parents tried to do something to me right now, I would take them down in a freaking heartbeat.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, if it was self-defense, they couldn't have been continuing it there. There's other abuse they could have been doing. But you know what? The other abuse doesn't warrant being murdered. Like, if somebody's verbally abusive to you, it doesn't warrant you murdering them. If they put you down or treat you like crap without physical, doesn't warrant murdering.
We're saying this at this age. Would you have said that at their age when they did it? Well, how old
when they
were
killed them? When they killed them, they were adults. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
At what age? Every stage of adulthood is different.
It doesn't matter what age. If you're an adult, take a responsibility for your actions. You know what? I had a totally abusive childhood. I had a totally horrific childhood. And at the age 18, I said, okay, now, I said this to myself. I said, anything that happens in my life going forward, it's on me, not my childhood, because now I'm in control of my life. And you know what? They could have walked away. They liked the money. They liked the lifestyle. If you're an adult, you could have deserted and disowned your parents forever. Or you could have gone
in the house.
I don't remember.
The house was in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
So that tells you everything, you know, like how much money the parents had and all that. And, you know, them spending the money afterwards, that's what really like doesn't add up with me.
How many times did the parents' money get the parents out of trouble? For if they reported the parents to the school, to the police, to anything, how many times did the parents' money get the parents out of trouble for doing what they said?
Which should be even more of a reason not to spend it. Like, you want nothing to do with that. That's dirty money to you.
I agree with all that, but here's the thing, Rebel. Okay, you're an adult. You're on your own. You're living your life. You know, like maybe. But that's my point. They should have been. If it was such a problem that you feel you want to murder them, then you go live your own life where they don't have that impact on your life and you disown them. You don't murder them. Okay.
Did they have that opportunity, or were they being forced to stay in the house? There's so many factors we don't know. Just like
forced to stay. How are they forced to stay in the house? They're adults.
Okay, well, yeah, you can walk out the door and be homeless and not have a thing to your name, and that is
this
a choice.
Is what happens a lot of times. People make choices of what's important to them, okay?
Or what they fear.
You're right, absolutely. But I personally think there's not, first of all, no matter what religion you believe in, there's nowhere in any Bible or book or anything that says murder is okay if this happens. It's thou shalt not kill. Period. So as far as moralities, I don't know. I never had a thought ever once of murdering anybody in my life that did unforeseen damage to me. Never. Like you. And then we go back to what you said in the beginning. We got to end and maybe continue this another day. But, you know, I think one of them was born evil, okay, and has the influence on the other.
Or made
evil. Or made evil. And the other one was, you know, scared of him. Because the other one doesn't seem the same way and doesn't seem like he's all right within. If it weren't for the other one, they wouldn't be in prison right now. Because the other one is who confessed because he couldn't handle it. And see, there you go. He couldn't handle his own brain anymore. What happened?
What is the one?
Okay,
what
so
if the one you think is the
something,
innocent one is actually the bad one?
That's possible too.
I'm looking it up, and it says that they were living with their parents at that time.
Okay, see, factors matter. How old were they?
I've been living on my own since I'm 15. Okay, here's the bottom line: if your life is that freaking bad, then leave.
Here's another interesting fact. You know how when you Google something,
at 15,
it tells you like,
back.
You know how like when you Google something, it tells you like the questions that are most often asked about the same topic. Apparently, a lot of people are asking, can the Menendez brothers have conjugal visits? And the answer to that is no.
No, and they couldn't even be in the same jail up until recently. When everybody's trying to get them freed, they've been separated the whole time. Why do you think they're separated? Because they know
get that story
them together. And they know that them together can manipulate things, and them together is what planned the whole thing. You know, it was planned. That's premeditated murder. And yes, they probably had serious psychological problems, which is what they needed help for. Okay, but it does not condone. If they did it because of psychological trauma, they should be in a mental hospital, not a prison.
Here's another thing that is not
stand trial.
Here's another thing that is not like adding up with me. The mugshots are them smiling.
Yeah,
they're smiling in the mugshot.
Who does that?
How old were they? Oh, well, I would.
21 and 18.
21 and 18. Yeah, they're still. I could see it happening. I'm
well,
sorry,
of course it can happen. It happened, but it doesn't mean it's legally right, and it doesn't mean it's morally right. The bottom line is, no matter what happens in your life, it gives you no right to take somebody else's life on your own. Period. I don't think so.
So here's a question for you: a police officer that takes a life because they're stopping a crime, is that immoral?
If they're doing it in the process of their job and a threat of their life,
I think that when it comes to police officers, the lethal option should always be the last option.
And they are taught that that's the last option.
They don't always follow that, but it should be.
If a police officer.
All right, let me correct what I said. Yes, in self-defense, or if your life is in danger, yes, you should take a life. Their life was not in danger at that moment in time. Okay? The basis of the innocence of them being released is the fact of the psychological trauma that they endured as children. that for an act that they performed as an adult. And yet, even as an adult, they still did not make their own way in the world because they wanted mommy and daddy's money to take care of them. So
we can legally say they probably weren't acting and mentally as adults then, right?
Maybe.
Okay, so that changes the scenario too. Okay, there's so many factors.
Listen, is it okay if a 14-year-old kid decides that he can't take the bullying of some bully anymore? Is it okay for him to go to school and shoot up the school?
Not the whole school, no. But
it's okay to shoot the bully. Is that what you're saying?
A 14-year-old should not have a gun. Okay,
I'm not saying that, but that's the point I'm making. Is like, okay, if you condone the Menendez brothers, and you also condone these kids that have psychological trauma from mega amounts of abuse going and shooting people.
And here's the problem: no one is being held accountable. Okay, you got to follow the chain and see where it starts, and go back to that and fix every link in that chain to fix the problem. You can't just say it was this instant. It wasn't.
Rebel.
If you don't want children to go and shoot up schools, know what your children are doing. Be accountable for your actions.
It's not always capable, but that's a nice thing to think about.
Yeah, I mean, the most consistent thing with children who are being bullied at school is that they tell no one.
But let me tell you,
and they show no signs of that.
Well, no, I have a proof of that. In Denham Springs, in a high school in Walker, there's a bully. That this little girl is an absolute, I'd like to bitch slap her through a wall. But I'd like to take care of her parents too. She can be a bully, but when the person she's bullying tells, go off yourself, the person that said that is now at fault. But you never did a damn thing about the bully. But no, the poor bully was told, and then you were told because you told that power suggestion. Well, bitch, let me tell you, I got a power suggestion for you. Okay? Stop your little twat girly from being a bully, and maybe she won't be told that. No, I don't condone.
Hey, Rebel.
Mm-hmm.
Rebel, do you have to do a show?
I do.
Well, then you better go because it's like 2 minutes of.
I'm doing it. I'm working on it. But yeah, we got to get back to that one. Come talk to me, Principal.
All right, so maybe we'll talk about this more on What the Fuck Wednesday. Meanwhile, we got to go now. Hey, Juan, after I say roll it, then maybe roll the Louder Than Life commercial and the outro. And because we're going to give away tickets to Louder Than Life too, so you can DM me at Pipeman Radio if you want to be entered to win Louder Than Life or Aftershock. There's 2 different contests with 2 different prizes. Roll it, Juan.
Louder Than Life, America's loudest festival, returns to Louisville this September with Slayer, Deftones, Avenged Sevenfold, Bring Me the Horizon, plus Sleep Token, Suicide Boys, Bad Omens, Rob Zombie, A Perfect Circle, Marilyn Manson, Evanescence, Knocked Loose, 3 Days Grace, Lamb of God, and so many more. Louder Than Life. September 18th through 21st in Louisville, Kentucky. Passes are on sale now at louderthanlifefestival.com.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.